everybody, and thanks for tuning in tonight. I was just thinking about the fact, just the moment I was coming live, and I was thinking about, wow, it's August. Can you believe that? I mean, we're at the end of July, and August is like coming right in. And who would have thought that this year that's been so like up and down emotionally, we would be in August? So I want to talk about a few things tonight, and one of them is that just kind of a current energy update. I asked some very specific questions when I threw out the cards. Also, I want to talk a little bit about August 8th that's coming up, which is the Lionsgate activation, and talk about what that's going to be all about, at least my understanding of it. And then we'll just kind of jump into what's next for us throughout the year. So, but I asked some very high level like energy questions, but I also asked some very grounded questions, because I know some people are really wanting these answers. So I'm going to share my screen here, and then we will kind of jump into it, so to speak. And so the first question I asked was, what is the world in right now? What's their current energy as of today? And this basically is showing us that we're kind of crafting on an individual level, on a consciousness level, a new world, so to speak. And through frequency of that crafting of the new consciousness, basically, the crafting is letting go of the old paradigm of the way we thought things should be, the way we felt they should be, what we expected, our expectations of the world. All that's being released. And through frequency, we are ascending to a new level of understanding and consciousness. So what does ascension mean? Because that word is thrown out a lot in the spiritual community. Basically what it means is that we're becoming more self-aware, meaning our ability to see things on a different level or a different perspective has gotten a lot easier. And so we like to use a lot of words like frequency and ascension and all that kind of stuff, but frequency, all this is, it's exactly what this image shows. It shows that people are playing music, so that tells us frequency, because frequency is a music. It's a musical tone, and through that we are going up, meaning our perspective or our vantage point is a lot easier to see. So kind of what that means is that it's kind of like when you're looking down at a mountaintop, you can see an entire city or an entire region and area easier than if you're down in the actual valley, or so to speak. Then you can only see the perspective of what is around you. And that's kind of what this is all about. That's what ascension is all about. We're seeing things from a different perspective, so to speak, and that's raising our energy. And so we're crafting this new world and letting go of the old thoughts. So a lot of people are going through, they've been going through the being by themselves phase, and having to face their own things, because that's the only thing they had to do during lockdown or stay at home. And so it's really interesting, because I was speaking to one of my friends last week. We were driving to meet up with some other friends, and we were both like going through this. We were talking about how we thought during lockdown that the rest of the group was mad at us. And so what that was, and I've talked about this on previous shows during this time frame, that was our own inner demons coming up, and that the part of ourselves, that insecure, that low self-esteem part of ourselves that was going within us and telling us that and making us feel that way. And is that a good thing? Well, of course it's a good thing, because then we have to go and we have to face this. We have to look within ourselves and tell ourselves, hey, this isn't what this is all about. This is about, your own thing. And that's a gift in a sense, because then you get to look at it, let go of it, forgive previous people, that because it's from the past. It's really from the past that it's making you feel that way, because you've had an experience, and what's happening now is similar to what you experienced before. So anyways, that's this. I did 4 draws. So the second draw, sorry, is this right here. And then I asked, what's the current state of emotions, and where for consciousness, not necessarily individual people, because some of you are going to say, well, I don't feel that way. And it's consciousness. And so this kind of right here is pretty self-explanatory. This person's very frustrated, but they're also being birthed. If you kind of look at it, They're very frustrated, very screaming, but they're being birthed through their frustration. And I put a post a few weeks ago on, there's all this stuff going on, except for, just so you know, did you know that diamonds and pearls are formed through friction? And so that friction and things that you're going through is it's very much needed, because the next step here is to master your serpent, or the serpent is also the Kundalini awakening. That's that ascension. Now remember, all of these things that they talked about in the ancient times, Kundalini, the River Jordan, all these things, those were symbols to talk about practical things, but they were put in symbols because they were hard. It made it hard for the lay person to see it. Now what's happening is these secrets, or these myths, are starting to come forward because it's showing us who we are. And so how do we shift this planet? Well, through our frustration, we face it. We become self-aware of it. This is the path to emotional intelligence. We become emotionally intelligent with it. We understand and we honor the fact that we have emotions, instead of burying them, sweeping them under the rug, because that's what we've been doing for so long, because we wanted to be, as my teacher many, many years ago, Reika, said, we wanted to be good little boys and good little girls and not rock the boat. But the truth is that in order to change this world, we have to get out there and be who we are, be authentic. And when we're authentic with who we are, and then we get to know ourselves, we get connected to all of consciousness and understand all of consciousness, we speak our truth, we emanate our light. And because we emanate our light, a light is a frequency of truth, because it illuminates darkness. And in darkness, where we can't see, it's where we're blind and we can't see. So we're being illuminated to the dark areas so that we can heal them or open them up to the truth of who they are, and then we can free them. But anyways, so then this is kind of moving, and then we're moving up again. We're in this upward movement and stuff like that. So the current emotions is, yes, frustration, but through this is a rebirthing and an awakening of the serpent within, or the Kundalini, or that person who we are, the divine being we are, or the empowered being that we are. And through that, we are traveling upward, so to speak. And so that's just kind of a powerful thing to say or think about. Now, I asked some practical questions, because we can talk about all these high level, energy concepts and stuff like that. But the truth is we still have to live here. And I want you to understand this. So I'm all about the higher stuff and the higher frequency. But there's people really out there thinking, like, how am I going to make it through the day? Am I going to get work? I'm not working right now. Or if I am working, it's very little and it's not bringing in a lot of income. So I asked the question, will the people that are out of work be able to go back? And so the first card here is about rejoicing, and it is about elevation, and then everything is going to be golden, so to speak. Now, through this, there is some crawling and still some anxiety and some things that are going to it's still a little bit of a rough path here, so to speak, on this individual ground, on this individual level. And to this, it doesn't mean that going back to work means that you're going to be going back to what you did before. It's also, what I'm getting intuitively is that we have to think outside of the box, meaning there might be a new way of doing things. Maybe the opportunity of you getting laid off or getting furloughed or whatever your job called it as a result of the pandemic, it was a way for you to think, is this really what I want to do? Is this the direction I want to go into? Maybe that there's a new way of thinking and a new way of being for you. So that's kind of where what this is about, is there's a torch being lit for you to say, this might be the new direction for you. And so it's saying that it's time for you to look at the potential that there might be something new. But the answer is, is that people are going to go back to work? The answer is, yeah, I think there's a golden state, meaning that everybody's going to be okay, and we're going to be going back into where people are going to have incomes and stuff like that. We just may need to think outside of the box and go into new things. And so that's just kind of that opportunity there as well. So last poll I asked, as I said, will things change before the end of the year, or will it be by the beginning of the year? Because I really felt intuitively that it wasn't necessarily, we weren't going to see major changes throughout this year. Like, we're going to have more, we're probably going to have another lockdown, what I'm feeling like intuitively. And there's a lot of people that feel that that's not anything new. There's going to be a lot of chaos towards the end of the year. We're not going to see any major shifts until that beginning part of the year. You might see something towards the end of the year, major shifts in the way the energy is moving until the beginning of the year. In the beginning of the year, there's a sense of rejoicing. There's a sense of happiness, of dance, and that's what this is all about. And that's something that, you know, we have to really go into or understand. And so it's saying that there is a rebirthing and a new sense of awareness of truth is going to be coming forward in the beginning of the year. There's going to be a new sense of awareness of truth, and the shadows are going to really be coming out of the darkness, so to speak. And we're all going to be able to face this and understand it. So this is really, so there's a sense of joy and rejoicing and happiness and celebration, but there's a new truth of awareness coming, and the things that are in the shadows will be coming forward. And so I'm not sure 100% sure what that means. I just know that it's a good sign that there's a sense of celebration and that there is truth coming forward, and truth always means healing. And so, and shadows coming forward isn't always bad. It can be rough sometimes, and I feel like intuitively this is going to be rough, but the roughness is taking us into this new idea of understanding. What's happening right now is that our energy is being raised so we can match the frequency or the understanding of where we're going into 2021. And so that's kind of where the energy is happening right now. Now, Lionsgate, the August 8th, I'm going to talk probably more about this next week, but this is something that this is where we've been getting a lot of downloads. Even people that weren't used to this kind of stuff, that weren't into the intuitive world, or you know, this thing, the metaphysical world or the spiritual world, like I've been in so many years, those people have been getting a lot of downloads, and they're not 100% sure what to do with some of them. They're like, I don't know what's going on, but I've been getting like messages where people have been seeing orbs, they've been seeing spirit, they've been seeing auras and everything. That's because you're being downloaded and you're being awakened. You're being awakened to that there is a lot more to this world than what you thought before. And that's a good thing, because what's been happening is our energy has been kind of pushed down for a very long time. It's been pushed down. So we're awakening to there's more than just you and your five senses. There's more than just you and your physical senses. There's a lot more to you than you thought. And so that's really what August 8th, and through August 8th, there's going to be a huge thing. So just get to be some of you might feel a little bit uneasy, and the energy is going to be a lot of anxiety and stuff like that. Some of you might already have that. What I want you to do for that, go and just breathe and put your feet in the ground outside. You know, go out to the beach, go out to a park somewhere and just breathe. Because what's happening is that the energy gets is a little uncomfortable, and then the body or the soul wants to kind of jump out. It's just kind of getting discombobulated. It's trying to readjust, so to speak. And that's okay. It's okay to go through these things, and it's okay to you know, go through something that's uncomfortable. And so these are things that we just really, you know, they're not going to change. I mean, we have to go through these things in order to, you know, in order to change as a world. And even if change meaning like we're growing into, like, it's called growing pains, so to speak. I mean, like when you were 7 years old, you were going through these growing pains, you might have said, oh man, these hurt, I don't want this to happen. But you still wanted to grow up. You didn't want to stay 7 for the rest of your life. And that's what's happening, is the planet is growing up. We're growing up into something new. We're growing up into something, to a new understanding. And we're building who we are as a society in a new way of thinking. And so that there's a lot going on this particular year. And yes, there's things I recommend. Don't be, you know, uneducated. Be aware of things, but also don't stay on social media so much. And if you do, stick to positive things that make you happy, and not always about the news. Don't sit there and watch the news all day long. I'm not saying be ignorant of what's going on in the world. What I'm saying is do things that fulfill your soul. Because this year, that's what it's all about. You can either choose to be always in the negative, or you can choose to do things that fulfill your soul. Now, that may be out being an activist, and that's okay. If that fulfills your soul, then do that. If you're a truth speaker, then do that. If you're a healer, then do that. If you are wanting to go back to school and do something for yourself, for your future, then do that. And this is really what this year is all about. It's about you making decisions for yourself so you can finally step out and live that authentic life. Because as you live authentically, as you become in alignment with yourself, you'll come in alignment for everybody else. And trust me, you will switch this world, because this world has taught you and taught a lot of us. They've lied to us and said you have to be pushed down. You can't be so wonderful and all that kind of stuff. And that's just not true. And so how you change that is you go out there and you do the opposite. You become the wonderful being that you are. You become the greatness that you are. And as a result, you give other people permission to be the same thing. All right, so I just wanted to put this out there. I do individual sessions, like I've said before, but I also do readings that are called soul readings for people. You can sign up for that at my website at jeremymcdonald.net, which is in the description. Also, I'm selling links to my book down in the description as well. And if you go to my website and sign up for the newsletter, I do send you back a free downloadable CD. It's about 72 minutes long, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Everybody, peace, and I will talk to you guys on Monday when my friend Elias Pantras comes on the line, and we have some exciting things coming up because we have an online expo that he and I are doing in October, and there's some other good news that will probably be announced sometime in the next several months. We haven't finalized it, but Spirit Heart Cruise is planning another cruise for February of 2022, so a ways out, because I know people are a little leery about being on cruises right now, but it's a ways out where you can actually plan for it. Much love, everybody, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.